This is why everyone must pay attention to what is happening in Guinea-Bissau. On November 26th, Guinea-Bissau's capital fell into familiar hands, not through votes, but gunfire. At first, it sounded like a robbery. Gunshots echoed near the presidential palace, and people started running for their dear lives. But when armored vehicles started circling and troops in full combat gear took position, the picture became clear. That day, state-run TVs switched to General Denis Nchama, who declared the military had taken over, all thanks to an intelligence report allegedly exposing a plot to tamper with the country's recent election, one involving politicians and unnamed foreign collaborators.
Military for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order statement. Established by the high leadership of different branches of the armed forces, the High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order has just assumed full powers of the State of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. Deeply committed to the values of national security, civil peace, the defense of territorial integrity, and the independence of Guinea-Bissau, the High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order is currently responding to the recent discovery of an ongoing, carefully orchestrated plan to destabilize and undermine the stability of our country. For the execution of this plan, an elaborate and detailed operational scheme was meticulously set up by certain national politicians, both national and foreign, as well as an attempt to manipulate election results. The implementation of this plan was discovered by the State Intelligence Service, a cache of war weapons. Thus, until the entire situation is properly clarified and the conditions for a full return to constitutional normality are restored, the High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order has decided to immediately depose the President of the Republic, to close until further notice of all institutions of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau.
But how did they get here? You see, 3 days earlier, the people of this tiny West African nation turned out in droves, many clinging to the hope that this time maybe the votes would matter. But that optimism was already on life support, because the African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde, the country's Liberation Party, was locked out early. Its leader, Domingos Simão Pereira, was barred by the Supreme Court, accused of missing a filing deadline by a few hours. Another opposition group, Pai Terra Ranka, was disqualified earlier in September. Now that left President Embaló, an ex-brigadier turned politician who grabbed power in a contested 2020 runoff, facing a cluster of unknown challengers. His only serious opponent was Fernando Diaz, a soft-spoken engineer backed by the disqualified candidates. Still, the people came out in numbers. Turnout estimates crossed 75%. Many said they were simply tired.
But everything is going smooth. We expected good results from the Guinea-Bissau citizens in diaspora Gambia. Those that are still at home, let them come out and vote. We choose who is going to rule Guinea-Bissau for the next 5 years.
No matter who wins, the country must not lose. I can't tell you who will lose. I hope it will be someone who is ready to move the country forward.
And then, a few days later, Monday, both camps started claiming victory. Embaló's party said he won 63%. Diaz's team claimed 51.4%. However, ECOWAS observers urged the two camps to calm down, urging them to wait until Thursday. But Thursday never came. Now, to those who have followed Guinea-Bissau's political history, none of this was shocking. Since 2005, the country has been known as Africa's first narco state, a launch pad for cocaine from South America into Europe.
Ahead of the elections, Diaz vowed to tackle drug trafficking in the nation, a key transit point for cocaine traveling from South America to Europe.
How is it possible for a drug plane to take off in Guinea-Bissau at the airport and the president says he has no knowledge of it? We also think that, being aware of this, we will fight against drug trafficking in Guinea-Bissau, especially when it's coming from public authorities.
Its islands, coastlines, and officials have long been a smuggler's dream. Top military officers, politicians, and judges have been implicated for years with near total impunity. So when the military decided to take over, they justified their actions using old lines: corruption, foreign interference, and drug-linked politicians. The same words used during a 2022 attempted coup that saw heavy gunfire around the palace.
For the execution of this plan, an elaborate and detailed operational scheme was meticulously set up by certain national politicians with the direct and active participation of the well-known and notorious drug baron, who is widely recognized for his criminal activities and influence in the illegal drug trade, both national and foreign, as well as an attempt to manipulate election results. The implementation of this plan was discovered by the state intelligence service, a cache of war weapons. Thus, until the entire situation is properly clarified and the conditions for a full return to constitutional normality are restored, the High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order has decided to immediately depose the President of the Republic to close until further notice of all institutions of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau.
By Monday night, Bissau had turned silent. Red Beret troops controlled all major junctions. Internet slowed, social media platforms were blocked. The airport shut down, stranding observers and journalists.
Suspend until further notice the activities of all media outlets. Immediately suspend the ongoing electoral process. Completely close the land, sea, and national air borders for all travelers and transport. A curfew is established from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. until further notice, until the necessary conditions are met to restore the constitutional normality of the state of Guinea. The High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order will exercise state power from this date onward. The High Military Command for the Restoration of State Security and Public Order appeals for calm, for the cooperation of Guineans, and for everyone's understanding in the face of these serious situations imposed by the national emergency. Mission November 26, 2025, High Military Command for the Restoration of National Order.
ECOWAS heads of state plan to meet for an emergency virtual summit. The African Union has already condemned the coup, but no one is expecting much because after Guinea-Bissau's 2012 coup, both bodies suspended the country only to welcome it back without full civilian rule ever restored. Sanctions have been routinely promised, rarely delivered. And across West Africa, the script is similar. Eliminate real competition, claim a landslide, and when tensions boil over, send in the military. Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Niger, and now Guinea-Bissau joins the list again.